You're invited to pretty with me at my pretty party. It's your favorite auntie. Keep your pity, give me the party. I gotta look good, so I'm gonna be tardy. What's up, my teacups and teapots? It's your favorite auntie. I am back with another video. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Joy Moya, and I am your favorite auntie, okay? I'm the favorite. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, all right? Let's get into this new video, all right? Your favorite auntie wants to know, have you been invited to church lately? All right. I want to talk about the church invitation because there was a time when, I backslid and I couldn't get an invite to church. Nobody invited me to church. Like when I really, really needed to be in that building, nobody invited me. Just left me out there, side of the road, slang. Anyway, I just wanted to talk to you about the church invitation because even if you do not receive an invitation, you can hear at some point, some kind of way, a call to go home. All right. Now remember, my mother didn't go to church, not on a regular basis, but she did watch it on TV faithfully. And though she made me watch it, I watch with her sometimes. Of course, I tuned it out. I was young. I was in my early adolescent years, so I wasn't like really paying attention to that thing or really interested, like that. It wasn't until I got into the physical building that I was like, oh, okay, let me look and see and listen and watch, right? But I didn't get into the physical building until I was about maybe 14, definitely around 13, 14, closer to like 14. All right. My only regret about that time back in the day is that I didn't get my mother into the physical building. Right? Her church experience was predominantly or mainly by TV. Now, granted, she did get in the building a few times. There were a couple of times when she made it to church with my uncle and his wife. I think she may have came to like 2 services, and this was around when I was about maybe 16 or 17 at the time she decided to actually get into the building. But again, my only regret was not getting her into the building of her pastor, Apostle R.D. Hinton. She wanted to get in that building so bad, and it didn't dawn on me at the time. I didn't understand the importance of how she needed to get in that building. I didn't understand the significance of getting her in the actual building. So I live with that regret to this day. You know what I mean? Like, I want to say that I'm like somewhat at ease. Like God has given me a spirit of rest with that situation because He has shown me her in the spiritual realm, being welcome into the church. Or I know it doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me, okay? But what I'm trying to say is that God gave me peace with that whole situation. The fact that she wanted to get in that building and I didn't get her in that building. Now, I know you may be wondering, well, favorite auntie, what was wrong with her that she couldn't get in the building? Didn't her legs work? Didn't she know how to get around Chicago? And the answer is yes. Yes, her legs worked. Yes, she knew how to get around the city of Chicago, but I think she wanted someone to actually go with her physically. And I was that person. I was her person. And you know how everybody has a person? I was my mother's person. But anyway, we are going to talk about you being in that building, getting in that building. Psalm 122 says, you know what? let me turn to it so I can make sure that I get it right. Okay. You know what I'm going to ask. Did you get your Bible? Huh? Did you get your NIV Bible as your favorite auntie suggested? Huh? Type it in the comments. Let me know. Favorite auntie, I got my Bible. I got my Bible, favorite auntie. Let me know in the comments that you got your Bible so that you can follow along, so that you can look for these pages with me, so you can look for these books with me. Again, the names are called books. Okay? The names are books. The numbers, the big numbers are chapters. The small numbers, verses. All right? All right. So the book of Psalms is, I would say, in the middle, right? Yep, I'm gonna say in the middle that I look as I look at this book, and I'm gonna put my glasses on, my frames rather, okay, and make it seem like I got glasses on. Maybe that'll help my vision a little bit. But anyway, Psalm 122 says, I was glad when they said to me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Has anybody said unto you, let us go into the house of the Lord? Have you gotten your church invite? Your favorite auntie is inviting you to church right now. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Now listen, again, there was a point in my life when I didn't get an invite. My first invite, however, came when I was like 14, right? When I came when I was around 14 years old, and I went with my sibling and his family, and that started my actual building church experience. And we're not going to talk about, like, you know, being in church for funerals, because that doesn't really count. Although, you know, I don't want to say it doesn't count. What I mean is, it doesn't really register as far as having a commitment or a relationship with the church, right? And then sometimes, you know, when you're in grief and you're mourning, you're really not really paying attention during a funeral service, although you should, because I just want to say that God is speaking loudly during that time. Okay? Holla if you hear me. God is speaking loudly during that time. All right? But anyway, so the first invite from church came when I was about maybe 14. And I was in and out throughout my life. Oh my God, the train. Every video is a train. I'm just going to wait till it passes. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to talk over a train. I mean, could you really hear me if I talked over a train? Like, really? Anyway, I was in and out of church until about maybe 28 or 29. I think after that age, I stopped going completely. Okay? And then it took me until about maybe... honey, look, I don't want to tell you my age. I'm almost 50, but it took me a while to get back in that building. Okay? All right. And let me just tell you, I was trying to find my way back, you know, after life was, you know, hitting and kicking and pulling and beating and just giving me the business. Okay? I was trying to get back in that building to find out what the hell is going on. Well, what's up? Right? Huh? Yes. And I did, like I said, didn't get an invite. I take that back. I got one invite. And the invite that I got, the church invite that I got came from a person who was a friend, and that friend was as wild as me, if not wilder at the time. And it's like, I'm grateful, but I couldn't get what I needed. That wasn't the place, for me. And I'm going to put out here that I had so many churchgoers around me, people who were faithfully going to church, even had a little place in church, like a little responsibility in church, who was just out there, just doing whatever. All right. But I don't want that to discourage you. I don't want that to discourage you from getting what you need, because everybody has to answer individually for their own house. Okay. All right. My teacups and teapots. Okay. All right. Now, I'm not going to hold you. That return back to church in the building was not easy. Okay? It was not easy. Again, I was battling the fact that I knew what was going on in the church. I knew 14, 15, 16, 17 what was going on in the church, because, everybody in the church was talking about everybody in the church, and, it was just on the hush, but everybody was talking about everybody's business, and folks was trying to get right and get clean, back in the day. And at that time in my teenage years, I didn't feel like I belonged there. I didn't feel like I belonged around or among those people, again, that were being talked about. Right? But now it's a different story. All right. But like I said, that return back into the building, it wasn't easy. Right? I was talked about. Folks took pictures of me. I was looked at all types of crazy. I was stared at. I heard the whispers, all of that. But do not let that discourage you from getting into that building. Okay? Do not let that discourage you from getting back into that building. You get talked about outside of the church, so why not get talked about inside of the church? Huh? You get talked about in the club, at school. Huh? You get talked about in your family. Huh? It's no different. You're going to get talked about all day, every day for the rest of your life. Somebody will always have something to say. All right. But your favorite auntie just wants you to find a church that fits. That's what I learned. From throughout my whole church experience, I realized that I had to find a church that fit. Now, I've gone to a small church where it was just family. I went to a church that was a small size, a medium size, a large size, and a mega. I would say that I'm in a mega church right now. And I think this one fits me because although people talk in the church, although it's a lot of, stuff going on in the church is so big, you just really don't catch it, right? And then what I like about the church is the fact that, the praise and worship team pulls you in, the pastor pulls you in and make you focus, and then the interaction with, the rest of the people in the congregation is a little minimal, but it's not close. Like, you don't actually know people. You know of people, but you don't actually know people in a mega church. That's what I like about it. Why? Because I'm an introvert and I'm antisocial and I don't want to be bothered. But I gotta come out of it, and this interaction that you're having with your favorite auntie is helping me come out of all of that. That's why I am making this dedication to you to show up and have this time with you, my teacups and teapots, because I have to come out of being an introvert. I have to come out of being antisocial. Okay? Like I said, I'd rather be watching a movie and eating donuts, okay? Just so we're clear. If not donuts, definitely ice cream. I know you can see it. I know you can see it on these arms here. Your favorite auntie got that little back fat right there at the bottom of the elbow. I'm so happy to have that. Woo, baby. All the aunties in my family got that little fat that hang over the elbow right there. I was like, ooh, I can't wait till I get it. You know, I want to fit in like my aunties. Baby, your favorite auntie finally got that little back fat right there. That little back fat right there at the bottom of the elbow. Anyway, let me focus. You will know that you are at the right church. You found your place because you will hear God. You will hear God. You will feel welcome. It will feel like home. You'll receive guidance. You'll get instruction. And if you sit down and be still long enough, your life will begin to change for the better. Okay? That's how you'll know it fits. Now to the second point, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 3. All right? My teacups and teapots, I hope you hurry up and get your Bible so that we can find these books together, because like I said, I be flipping from the New Testament to the Old Testament, trying to remember where the new and the old is and what book is where. Okay? I get mixed up sometimes, and I need my teacups and teapots to help me remember. No, it ain't over there, favorite auntie. Is it back here? All right. So 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16, okay? All right. It reads, "Do you not know that you are the temple of God and that the Spirit of God dwells within you?" Now, this means that you have to go within yourself, okay, and get yourself together. Get your house, your temple, yourself together. Everything that you encounter in this physical house of God, right? The church building, everything that you encounter in that house of God should be mirrored inside yourself. Okay? Your body is your temple. Your self-being or your spiritual house of God should mirror the physical house of God. Now, I'm not talking about the gossip that's going on in the church. I'm talking about the praise, the worship, the prayer, right? The community service, right? The time with God, the acknowledgement of God, the worship of God in the physical house as well as in your self-being, right? Your persons, okay? I remember when I used to go to this church on the west side, and the pastor, I think Reverend Color is her name, would walk up and down the aisle saying, "Get your house in order. Get right, church. Get your house in order." I think it was Reverend Color. I think so. Anyway, get your house in order. Your favorite auntie is telling you, get your house in order. Okay? Get your house, your temple, your body, get it in order. And it took me until my adult age, right now even, to understand that she was talking about both the physical and the spiritual house. Now, I was about 15 or 16 at the time, so don't count that ignorance against me, please. All right? Don't count that ignorance against me. I was only 15 or 16 at the time to not understand that she was talking about both houses, the physical house and the spiritual house. Get your house in order, okay? Your favorite auntie is now saying to you, get your house in order. Because the enemy comes like a thief in the night. So if you don't have your house in order, find one and go home. Find one and go home. That means if you don't have a church home, find one and keep going to it. Then get yourself together. Sit down. Sit down. Like the old mothers used to say, the grandmothers and the great grandmothers. Get somewhere and sit down. I know I heard my grandmother say it. Get somewhere and sit down. Huh? You young people today, my teacups and teapots, y'all couldn't handle back in the day, baby. Not the southern grandmamas. Y'all done got bad with these, new age grandmothers. Back in the day, baby, grandmothers would go to the bush and get a switch, baby, and come right on back in. And they did it so smoothly, right? They tell you, my grandmama used to say, sit down, and I didn't get it. I'm a kid, 1. I'm down there with the rest of my cousins, 2. And 3, I don't know that she means sit down when she say sit down. I don't understand that she meant get somewhere and sit down, meaning be still before I, do what I need to do to you. And baby, she just be so smooth with it. She walk right on out the door, go to the bush. And even one time I saw her at the bush pulling off a branch. Well, I won't say a branch, but it was like a branch, not a doggone tree, but you understand. She was getting a switch, and I saw her. I watched her get a switch, and it didn't dawn on me that that's what I was about to find out. You hear me? Your favorite auntie found out, baby. Yes, I got somewhere and sat down. Huh? Anyway. My church is a come as you are, right? Many churches are welcoming people as a come as you are. But let me just tell you how I really do sometimes get a little bothered, okay? I get a little bothered when I see people coming in the church with tight clothes, street clothes, outside clothes. It's like, it bothers me because it's like, man, my people, my culture, my teacups and my teapots don't understand that, it's okay to have a different wardrobe. It's okay to have a collection of clothing to represent where you're going, right? And it just confirms and it solidifies and it goes to show that all my teacups and teapots have is club wear and street wear. And that's okay. But at some point, please understand that you need to at least go to a thrift store, baby. You hear me? Go to a thrift store. Them folks donate nice clothes, especially if they know you coming up in there. Okay, them folks gonna put some nice clothes up in there for you so you can, look nice going on a job interview or to church. Mainly, hopefully, to church. You hear me? And I'm telling you, if you continue to go to church, you're not gonna want to come up in there any kind of way. You're not gonna want to come up in there looking any kind of way. And I mean, I've been in my church that I go to now, man, I've been up in there and I've smelled the weed. Now look, I ain't gonna hold you about this weed now. You hear me? Okay? I'm not gonna hold you about this marijuana. Because your favorite auntie got down with that marijuana. You hear me? Okay? I'm just telling you my testimony. I don't smoke no more. I don't. Nothing. Cold turkey. Well, it wasn't cold turkey, but eventually I stopped. Okay? Eventually I stopped, and it's been about 2 to 3 years almost. Maybe 2 years. Something like that. All right. But yeah, I mean, just consider, check your house. Check your persons. Check your inside and see what's going on. Is the thief then came into your house like the thief in the night? Huh? I'll go more into that in another video to break that down for you, but hopefully you get it and understand. Has the thief come into your house? Huh? Huh? That's all I got for you. You know your favorite auntie is not going to do a long video for you because I understand my teacups and teapots. Y'all don't like the long videos. Y'all just give it to you. Right? Just give you what you need and let you go on about your business. That's what my niece told me one time. She was like, Auntie, you just giving me too much at one time. She was like, okay, let me process. I'm like, huh? I'm trying to give you all this stuff I got and, making sure you know and you understand. And she's like, yeah, but you just putting too much on me and I need to process. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I understand that my teacups and teapots, you don't want a lot of at one time. All right, so I'm gonna give you 1, 2, 3 things and go on about my business. All right, my teacups and teapots. Now look, go ahead and comment on this video. Definitely like it so that we can get the algorithm up. Okay, so more people can see this video and get this information, get this tea, honey. Okay. All right, and then definitely subscribe to the channel. It is free to subscribe and you don't want to miss a video, right? You don't want to miss what's next. And that's it. Oh, a train again. Gosh, I'm so tired of this train horn. This train horn be so disrespectful. And I tell you, it comes all through the night, baby. It does not matter what time it is. The train is a coming and the horn is going to blow. You hear me? Anyway, go ahead and donate a seed of 6. Help your favorite auntie continue to reinforce your armor. What is your armor? Ephesians 6. Go read it. If you had your Bible, if you got your Bible, you can turn to the page and read it for yourself. Start at 13. Ephesians 6:13. It breaks down what that 6 is. That is your armor of God. Your favorite auntie is reinforcing that armor with this tea time. Okay? All right, so that's all I have for you. Again, the Cash App is Keeping Pretty. Money sign, capital K, Keeping, capital P, Pretty. And that's it. So a seed beginning in or ending in the number 6. All right, my teacups and teapots, that's all the time that I have for you in this video. Until next time.